Welcome back, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I know, I already said my big goodbye, but you haven't heard the last of me. We managed to record one more show before I make my big move. We're back once again, kicking into a brand new episode of Dick Rogers' Space Detective.
Careful there, Carl Douglas. You almost took my head off with that high kick.
I mean, it was fast as lightning.
Well, before you rip my still beating heart out of my chest, what's today's episode about?
Today's episode is actually a prequel. Though it aired in 1974, it actually tells the story of how Dick and Janet first met and started working together as partners.
But how does all the kung fu stuff tie in?
Well, today's episode came out during the high of the martial arts boom in the 1970s.
Enter the Dragon did just come out a year prior, which kicked off a massive flood of martial arts movies to local cinemas, as well as TV and especially comic books. This is when not only Bruce Lee came to peak popularity, but other celebrity martial artists like Chuck Norris and Rudy Ray Moore.
I don't know if Rudy Ray Moore counts. He was more of a comedian.
He counts in my book.
Hey, you guys want to see if I can do a bicycle kick?
Joanna, I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh, I'm okay, I think. Mike, are toes supposed to bend this way?
Oh, maybe roll the episode, Mike.
Rolling.
Welcome, one and all, to the adventures of Dick Rogers, Space Detective. Today's episode brings us back in time to when Dick was but a young man, fresh on the detective scene, and the case that brought him face to face with someone he'd soon become very familiar with. Stay tuned for Dick Rogers and the Martial Arts Mystery.
It was just after noon, and I was putting the finishing touches on my desk. I'd just gotten it delivered from Space Kia, and had finally figured out how to read the instructions well enough to put it together after about 3 times. Though I still had a few pieces left over, I had no idea where they went. And it was probably fine, as I tucked it into a spare corner. I'd clean it up later. For now, I took a seat at my new desk and just took it all in. After years of training and apprenticing, I'd finally gotten my own space detective practice. This calls for a drink. I had cold ones in the vacuum fridge, the good stuff for just an occasion. I had sat down and cracked one open when she came into my office. She was pretty. No, more than pretty. She was gorgeous. Curly blonde hair and bright blue eyes. She looked so familiar, I could have sworn I'd seen her before.
Dick Rogers?
The same. What can I do for you, miss? Take a seat. Can I get you a drink? I just opened a cold one to celebrate my new office.
No, thank you. I have something urgent I need you to help me with.
Rush jobs will probably cost you extra, and I usually don't take on client cases. But I might make an exception.
Look, my father has been kidnapped.
And I assume the GIF sent you to me?
They did. The nature of the case means they can't get involved directly. I'd have to hire an independent contractor, like yourself.
And the nature is...
We have reason to believe my father has been kidnapped by Lord Butcher.
Lord Butcher. That is a big deal. What did your dad do to get on that guy's radar?
He's the president of space.
That's where I knew her from. Sitting here in my office was none other than Janet Benini, daughter of Space President Marshall Benini. Right then and there, my gut was telling me to turn the case down. Turn her away and refer her to someone more experienced. Butcher was an alien dictator who conquered planets mostly because he thought it was fun. He commanded an army to rival the GIF, and he was no slouch in the combat department himself. I've heard stories of how he'd tear 100 men to shreds himself, with his bare hands, and the laser beams he shot out of those hands. That wouldn't even cause him to break a sweat. It was just Wednesday for him. I'll take the case. Damn it.
Perfect. Unfortunately, I can't stay to chat. I'll send you the info, and I'll meet you at the spaceport in 4 hours, okay? And please, keep this a secret. We can't let word get out that the president of space has been kidnapped.
My lips are sealed.
good. Thank you so much, Detective Rogers. I'll see you at the spaceport.
She left as quickly as she came, and I only had one thought once I was alone. I could back out, right? I mean, no one single person could dare face Butcher and live to tell the tale. He got that name for a reason. I know, I could pack up everything I own and flee the city, start over fresh. I just got a new office, so getting a new office would be no big deal, right? Right? I'm at the spaceport, aren't I?
Thanks again for taking this job on such short notice. I know it's intimidating. Even though the GIF won't raise a hand against this guy. I was afraid you'd run out on me and I'd have to try and find someone else. My ship's this way. I'll drive.
I would never do something like that. Honest. I definitely should have done something like that. But it was too late now, as she led me to her personal craft. Sporty and expensive looking. At least I wouldn't have to worry about getting paid, assuming I survived. Plus, rescuing the president would give me a major career boost. She led me inside the ship, and we strapped into the cockpit. She started the ship's engine, and before long, we were sailing into space. So, where are we going?
You read the briefing, didn't you?
I was too busy looking for apartments on New Neptune. Yes, but I wanted to go back over it with you, just in case I missed anything.
Well, we're headed to Fromis 4, Butcher's homeworld. He's hosting some kind of martial arts tournament. He does it every year. The winner gets a high-ranking place in his army. We think if he's kidnapped my father, like the evidence suggests, he may be mounting an assault on the GIF itself.
About that evidence, how do we know he did it?
Well, we don't think it was him directly, but some of his personal generals. One of them ambushed my father in his office, no less, managing to sneak past all kinds of high-level security undetected. They did, however, leave a handwritten note from Butcher himself.
Right, of course.
So, the plan is, we'll both join the tournament. Being competitors will give us access to all kinds of areas we otherwise would have to sneak into. All we have to do is survive a few rounds of the tournament. Your file says you fight, but it didn't say what style. I'm an atomic karate practitioner. But what's yours? Krav Maga? Or space judo?
I have a gun.
I don't think that's tournament legal.
What are they gonna do to stop me? I don't know if you heard, but I have a gun.
Dick, this is a hand-to-hands combat tournament. Are you seriously telling me you don't have any real fighting experience?
I mean, I know the basics of CQC, but I'm used to shaking down random thugs in bars and back alleys. Not guys who know how to twist my head off with their fingertips.
Oh, probably a bad time to tell you I've already submitted our entrance forms.
You did what?
It was the only way we were gonna get an invite to the planet. Audience tickets sold out months ago, and today was the deadline for the tournament entry. What do you think I was doing in the 4 hours between your office and now? Do you know how long the line is for the space post?
Miles. It's worse than waiting in line at Spacey World. Unless you get the warp pass, but those are super limited, and trying to get on that is like a game in and of itself. It's a nightmare.
It's fine. It'll all be fine. All we have to do is survive the preliminary rounds and get into the tournament proper. From there, we'll have time between matches to sneak around and find my father. Can you at least do that?
Of course. I think. Probably. You know, Pluto is so nice this time of year. I should have gone.
And while Dick and Janet make their way to Fronis 4, let us take a word from our sponsors. This Sunday, Titans clash on Fronis 4. The fate of the universe is at stake. Heavyweight champions like Shanzana Abali, the Breaker of Men, Josie the Snake Man, and Coleman McGinnis. I don't know what he just said, but if you want to find out, then be there. And witness none other than Lord Butcher himself destroy the competition. The universe will never be the same. Don't miss the main event this Sunday. Broadcast across the universe in all languages. It's Butcher Mania time again. Don't miss the carnage as Lord Butcher and his personal warriors make the competition cry like a nerd on prom night. It's Butcher Mania! Butcher Mania! Butcher Mania! It's running wild! Ah! And now we return to Dick Rogers, Space Detective.
After a lengthy and anxiety-riddled trip, we arrived at the planet Fronus 4, a planet that was exceptionally cold. In fact, its entire surface was frozen over. But Janet guided the ship to what at first appeared to be a large open crater. I quickly realized that this was an artificial tunnel that led into the underground of the planet. This was apparently where the residents lived, since the surface was so inhospitable. Janet parked the ship among a large field of other parked ships, no doubt other competitors, as she turned the engines off.
You ready?
Of course. No, I wasn't. But what choice do I have at this point? Shut up, brain. You know that's not how it works.
Dick, are you talking to yourself?
No. Yes. Don't worry about it.
Right. Well, anyway, we have to register for the tournament. I already sent you your form. Looks like we're going to be organized into different groups. So, I'll meet you inside.
I got the file and saw that I'd been organized into Group C3. I found the line and stood behind someone who looked like another human. Something I was quickly finding out was increasingly rare here.
Oh, hey there, fellow human. Didn't think I'd see any others here.
The man who turned around to face me had one of those faces I swore I've seen before. Was this some kind of running theme today? Hey. Yeah, I'm kinda on a case here, just between the two of us.
You're Dick Rogers, right? You just got your space detective's license? This is kind of an intense place for a rookie to show up, don't you think?
Do I know you?
Well, we've never officially met, but just between us, I'm Levi Draco.
Oh, okay. Let me back up here. Levi Draco was a GIF super soldier project. He was experimented on and granted a whole bunch of special abilities. The whole project was to have people on our side to go toe-to-toe with guys like Butcher. This guy can fly, he's bulletproof, super strong. I'm pretty sure he can shoot lasers from his hands. He's like a superhero. I've heard of you, but are you supposed to be here? The GIF can't actually move against Butcher without creating some kind of incident. It's why my client had to hire someone like me, technically independent.
That's why I'm undercover. I've registered under the name of Jonathan Torres.
Don't you mean Jonathan Torres?
No, they'll expect a Jonathan, but they'll never expect a Jonathan. It's foolproof.
Levi Draco has never been known for being very smart. Near infinite power, dumb as a box of hair. Well, good luck with that.
All I gotta do is get in front of the Butcher, and I can just deck him in the schnoz. So you can go look for the president of you-know-what.
I don't think space is the part we were trying to keep secret. Wait, how do you know that? I thought they didn't let that information out.
Well, not to the public, but I have access to a bunch of stuff most people don't.
Did he come here on his own? Is the GIF living superweapon just out loose in the galaxy, looking to find the crazed maniacal supervillain and, I quote, deck him in the schnoz? Draco gave me a smile and a thumbs up as his number was called for registration. I gave a weak response as his information was checked and he was led into the facility. After that, I was next. I assumed I'd be checked for weapons, so I had already stuffed my blaster into a secret pocket in my jacket that would hide it from scanners. The alien that looked over my registration form was a large, yellow creature with a round head and many tendrils.
Dick Rogers?
That's me. He slid a badge across the counter to me.
Next.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah, now get moving.
What's the holdup? Get out of the way, Earthman!
All right, I'm going. Sheesh. I moved past the counter into the facility. It led into a large arena. And as I moved through the aliens around me, I began to realize why nobody bothered to check for weapons. Most of the competition were huge, monstrous-looking figures that seemed like they wouldn't even flinch at a blaster shot, let alone something bigger. I'm pretty sure I saw one guy breaking solid bricks with his face as a means of warming up.
Dick!
I turned to see Janet among the crowd.
Good to see you got past registration.
Yeah, I notice security here is a little lax.
Probably because Butcher isn't afraid of someone trying to cause trouble.
Judging by the competition, I don't think they are either. Also, did you know Levi Draco is here?
Excuse me?
Levi Draco.
No, I know who he is. What is he doing here? The Jiff wouldn't dare send him. At least not right now with tensions between them and Butcher so high.
I think he's here on his own.
Of course, he'd want to come and complicate things.
I mean, he has an IQ of like 10, so I guess I can't say I'm that surprised. I should try and call someone at the Jiff and see if they can't get him to fall back.
I think that would just make things worse, honestly. At the very least, he can serve as a distraction while we look for my father.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Of course he knows about that, too.
Our banter was interrupted by the lights shutting off.
Competitors of Butchermania, please turn your attention to our Lord and Master and prepare yourselves for an address from our one and only ruler of this half of the galaxy, the true King of the Universe, Lord Butcher!
A spotlight came on over the platform above us. Sitting on a throne was none other than Butcher himself. He almost looked human, though his skin was a pale blue, almost like ice. He also had a pair of horns protruding from his head.
Welcome, welcome everyone to this year's Butchermania. I'm impressed with the turnout, but because of that I do have an announcement to make. Only half of you are going to be moving on to the actual tournament, which means each one of you will have to defeat one of your fellow competitors. Right now. Make it a good show.
The lights came back on and the crowd immediately erupted into violence. Each potential competitor attacked whoever was closest to them. Janet and I got separated in the chaos as I tried to make my way past the fighting around me. Thankfully, most had already found their dance partner until I bumped into some kind of bug man. A green and yellow exoskeleton with wings and some kind of mandible for a mouth. The alien snarled at me, rattled its wings in what I could only assume was some kind of intimidation stance. It was working, especially when it extended long blade-like appendages from all four of its arms. It rushed me, swinging its blades at me in rapid succession. I could only barely dodge them as I felt them cut through my shirt and graze my chest. I stumbled and fell. I tried to crawl away, but it placed a foot on my back, pinning me in place. It made some kind of rattling noise that I assumed was its attempt at laughter as it used one of its blades to turn me over. And in one swift movement, I pulled my blaster from under my jacket and leveled it at the bugman's head. I fired one shot and his head exploded in bright yellow goo. Before anyone could notice, I slipped my blaster back under my jacket as Butcher's men came to confirm my win and escort me out of the crowd. I was led to sit in the audience seats as the fighting went on. I could only wait until Janet was also escorted out of the crowd.
Ugh, I see yours got messy.
I see you barely broke a sweat.
Oh yeah, I got jumped by a Duplicon. Tried to replicate himself and take me in a group. But I made him regret that. Thankfully, Duplicons divide their overall strength when they divide their bodies.
Say, did you see Draco out there?
No, but I wasn't really looking. I assume he punched some guy's head off right away.
Yeah, it hit the ceiling.
We were both startled, turning in our seats to find Levi Draco behind us.
How long have you been there?
I just got here. So what's the plan? I could just deck Butcher's schnoz right now if you want.
As amusing as that would be, I think we'll want to wait on that.
We were going to investigate the facilities between matches. See where he's holding the president before we take any real action.
Got it, okay. I'll do a sweep of the place real quick.
And before any of us could say anything, he just seemed to disappear. Did he just teleport?
No, he's just that fast. We should probably get moving anyway. It looks like things are finishing up here.
And I need a shower. I looked out across the arena and saw the crowd had certainly thinned. The last remaining fighters were escorted out.
Good! Great! Good show, everyone! Now, if you'll excuse me, my men will have to clean the area before the real show starts. The minions will escort you to your rooms.
He pressed a button on his throne and the whole thing lowered into the platform. After that, Butcher's men escorted us through the facilities, which to my own surprise, looked more like the interior of some kind of swanky hotel. They separated us and led me to my own room, which was just as swanky as the corridors, at least for this wing. Once I was alone in the room, a ring came in on my communicator watch.
Dick, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think they have me on the other side of the facility, which works for us. We can cover more ground that way. We have some time before the matches get started in earnest. We can meet up and compare notes then.
Roger that. I'll see what I can find. I slipped out of my room and scanned the halls for anything out of the ordinary. Not like I expected to find anything, but it didn't hurt to check. But once I did my sweep of the public-facing area, I found a door marked Restricted Access and slipped past. The corridors were much more stark compared to the previous wing. I didn't run into anyone until I noticed a door was open further down the hall. I went to investigate and saw none other than Levi Draco step out, closing the door behind him.
Oh, hey there, buddy.
Draco, what are you doing here?
Looking for the president?
I figured that much, but you kind of stand out. I thought the plan was you serve as a distraction while we look for the president.
Yeah, I got bored waiting though, so I figured I could help out. Don't worry, I'll be extra sneaky.
Well, did you find anything?
This broom closet. Nothing in here but a bunch of mops though? Not sure whether they'd call it a broom closet if there's no brooms in there.
Hey, you there! This is a restricted area!
Oops, I can't get caught. You got this, don't you, buddy?
Great,
see you later!
And before I realized what was happening, he was gone, leaving me to deal with 2 guards with blasters drawn on me. For a second, I thought about drawing my own, but decided against it. It was 2 against 1, and they had me pinned. I decided a more tactful approach was in order. Gentlemen, I think we... Ow! Jeez, do you have to be so rough?
Quiet, or we'll make you be quiet.
So what should we do with him?
Let's take him to Butcher. If he kills this one, he'll be in a better mood for the rest of us.
Good idea.
I was dragged along the corridors, regretting my life choices as the 2 guards took me to some kind of opulent throne room. It looked more like it belonged in a fantasy novel, but I didn't really have time to criticize the decor as I was pushed to my knees in front of the throne. On it sat Butcher himself, surrounded by more minions.
And what is it you've brought me now? Don't you idiots know I'm busy?
We found an intruder, sir. He was snooping around by the broom closet.
Filet, we have dozens of broom closets. You'll have to be more specific.
The one with the mops in it, sir.
Wait, if it's full of mops, why do we call it a broom closet?
I'm not sure, sir.
Anyway, you human, what are you doing snooping around? You're not from the GIF, are you? You've been a thorn in my side for years.
We think he's a spy, sir.
I'm not speaking to you, Filet. Now look where that got you. You're dead.
Faster than I could even track, Butcher had fired some kind of laser from his palm. It flew right over my shoulder and pierced the guard's chest. He was dead before he even hit the ground.
Chuck, send Filet's family a nice basket. Make up some story about them dying heroically or whatever. You're good at those.
Yes, sir.
I could only hope Janet was faring better than me when the doors behind me burst open again.
Sir, we found an intruder. Oh, I see you've already got one.
It's fine. Just put him with the other one. They're probably related. You are both humans, right? Doesn't matter. We're on a schedule.
The guard pushed Janet to kneel beside me. I wanted to ask what happened, but now wasn't exactly the time.
Good. Now, Rib, Porter, you can return to your duties. Oh, and take Filet with you.
He's dead, sir. What should we do with the body?
I don't care, and unless you'd like to join him, I suggest you get out of my sight!
The 2 guards scrambled to pick up what was left of the dead guard's body and made a quick exit.
I swear, finding good help these days. Anyway, you 2, any last pleadings to get out before you die?
Where's my father, you maniacal madman?
Okay, first of all, that's an oxymoron. I know you're probably desperate and all, but that's no excuse for bad grammar. Second of all, what?
What she means is we came here investigating the kidnapping of her father, the president of space.
I didn't kidnap the president of space.
What? But there was a ransom note, and...
Ransom note? Look, dear, do I look like someone who operates on ransom notes? If I kidnapped your father, then I would have broadcast it to anyone and everyone who would listen. I would make big, grandiose speeches with dynamic poses. I'm not the secrecy guy. That's my brother Baker's territory.
So is there a third?
Yes, Candlestick Maker, our father thought he was very clever. He mostly handles the business side of things. But regardless, I didn't steal your president. Are you sure he's even here?
He carried a tracking device on him just in case of situations like this. I was trying to find the location of its signal when your men ambushed me.
Wait, men plural. Only one brought you in.
There were 4 others. I knocked them all out when the last one finally got a good hit in.
Well, I shouldn't be surprised the daughter of the president of space would be well trained to defend herself.
More than that, I'm a black belt in atomic karate. I can knock people apart at the atomic level.
Really now? That's an impressive claim. Can you back that up?
Janet, I don't think we should egg on the...
Name your challenge.
Chuck! Mobilize the men. Have them comb the facility for this space president.
Yes, sir. Right away.
Now, you two. I think the first round of our tournament's getting a little bit of an adjustment. You 2 humans versus my best warriors. If you can best them, I'll let you have your space president back. Fail, and he remains in my custody, and you 2 will work for me. Assuming you survive, of course.
Janet...
Deal.
Excellent! Loin, Round, take our guests to the stage facilities. They have a fight to prepare for.
Yes, sir.
Will Dick and Janet survive this dictator's challenge? Will they rescue the president or perish trying? Find out after these sponsored messages.
Hey there, folks! Have you or a loved one ever experienced significant loss at the hands of an evil space dictator? Then you may want to consider this new offer from me, Skeevy Mike. Now introducing Dictator Insurance. When you're covered under Dictator Insurance, you're guaranteed protection from tyrannical overlords, be it death or dismemberment or even planetary destruction. Skeevy Mike is here for you in your time of need. So call now to set up your Dictator Insurance. Our agents are ready to help you, so call now. Terms and conditions apply.
And we're here again for the annual Butcher Mania. Commenting as always is myself, Brisket, and my wonderful co-host...
Shake here at your service. Now, Brisket, I've just received word that the original tournament plans have been altered by Lord Butcher.
Indeed it has, Shank. It turns out our gracious dictator has discovered a couple ne'er-do-wells sneaking around the facility, and instead of executing them on the spot, he's decided to let them fight for their freedom. But the odds are stacked against them, because Butcher has put them up against his strongest warriors, selected specifically from previously defeated planets.
And who do we have on the docket for this evening, Brisket?
Today's match is between Lord Butcher's personally chosen fighters, Josie the Snake Man and Cole McGinnis.
Now, the information I have here says that Josie is the sole survivor of the planet H Delta 6 and was the winner of a battle royale that Lord Butcher held in order to find the strongest amongst his people.
And he's been undefeated since his arrival to Butcher's army.
That's right, and with him tonight is Cole McGinnis, one of the rare humans from Earth, specifically a place called, Scotland?
And he's one heck of a fighter, was able to take out a whole squadron of Butcher's men before they finally subdued him. He's a man that lives to fight and will take it anywhere he can get it. He's brutal, ruthless, and nearly unstoppable.
And challenging our fighters is one, Dick Rogers. Hailing from Earth, Dick Rogers is a member of the GIF under the title Space Detective.
Considering he ended up here, he must not be a very good one.
I'll say, his file is light, so he may be a bit of a fresh fish in these waters. And here on his application form, he's written his fighting style as gun. I'm not really sure what that means, but let's see if he can surprise us.
And his companion is Janet Benini, an Earthling who also happens to be the daughter of the President of Space, who has apparently been kidnapped. The perpetrator of this crime apparently tried to frame our dear Lord Butcher.
That's right. Our fellow Butcher soldiers are combing the facility for this missing president, who is apparently the prize of this bout.
And I see our fighters approaching the stage right now. Shank, let's see how they manage.
And just when the guards showed up, he split.
Wait, so you ran into Draco too?
Yeah. Did he pull the same thing with you?
Nearly identically. Though we had a whole tangent about the difference between a broom and a mop closet.
It is an important distinction to make, to be fair.
Anyway, what are our odds?
Not good, if I'm being honest. I I can hold my own, but I get the feeling you're majorly outclassed. I won't be able to watch your back while dealing with my own opponent. At the very least, you'll have to stall him. Still have your blaster?
Yeah, security really sucks here. They still never check me for weapons.
Thankfully, they're so incompetent. You may have to use that to your advantage.
Your flesh will serve as a wonderful meal.
Yeah? Well, we got about a dozen or so ways to cook a snake on Earth, too.
No, your mother!
And our fighters square off waiting for the bell. Now, for those watching, this fight has very few rules. Each duo of fighters must defeat the other pair by any means necessary. Should a fighter fall and be unable to get up after a 10 count, they will be considered defeated. Also, if a fighter is knocked out of the arena, they are automatically considered defeated. There are no other rules.
And that's the bell. Our fighters are quick to get into it as Josie and Janet are exchanging blows left and right. Josie is taking the offensive with his snake strike technique, but Janet is managing to parry his blows. These two combatants are almost moving too quickly to keep track of.
And Dick and Cole are... Well, I think Dick is trying to tire him out.
He's sure getting punched a lot.
That he is, Shank. This man has taken more body blows than I've seen in a long time. It's amazing that his ribs aren't putty at this point.
Oh, and it looks like Cole has gotten Dick in an armbar.
It's a tight hold. I'm not sure Dick will be able to slip out of this one.
This isn't a pinfall match, so Dick will have to tap out or face dire consequences. Cole could easily dislocate an arm from this position. Ah! And there it is! That's gotta hurt!
It seems Cole thinks he's won this match. He's released Dick Rogers and dropped him to writhe in pain on the ground.
10, 9.
Dick is reeling from
8,
that. Will he be able to
7,
recover in time? I see
6,
he's using his one good arm to
5,
reach for something in his jacket.
4,
Could this turn the tides of the match? Oh, Dick Rogers has pulled a blaster and fired it at Cole McGinnis. It was a direct headshot. Cole is down. Cole is down. But wait, is he getting back up? He is!
This man is made of steel. He's unstoppable. He's completely unscathed. He's been blasted out of the arena and has crashed into the Zengorpian announcer's table. Cole is disqualified.
I don't think anyone could have seen this coming. Some mysterious strangers intervened in the match.
Is that legal?
There's no rule against it, Brisket. All is fair at Butcher Mania. Who is this mysterious stranger? Is he friend or foe? Find out after this commercial break.
I could only think of myself as lucky when the fight was interrupted. We all turned to find Draco stepping into the arena. I can't say I was too surprised.
What are you doing? This wasn't part of the plan.
I got bored. Figured I could move things along.
Yeah, I think my everything is broken.
And Dick's everything is broken. Hold still, buddy.
Wait, what?
There you go. Arms back in place for you.
Gee, thanks.
Anytime.
And just what is going on here?
Butcher descended from his throne, hovering midair, because that's a thing he can do, I guess.
Finally, you and I get to be face to face.
I'm very confused. Who are you?
Levi Draco, gift super soldier, but more importantly, the guy who's gonna put you in the dirt.
Ooh, so forward. And amusing, you think you have what it takes.
Before you two do whatever you're gonna do, can we maybe find my father first?
Oh, I left him in the broom closet, but it's full of mops. The strangest thing.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I kidnapped the president.
Why?
Do you know how hard it is to play the simpleton? To walk among cardboard buildings and paper people your entire life? Even when you get the chance to let yourself loose a little bit, you still have to hold back. I could destroy the entire universe if I wanted to, and I have to put up with this, all of this. But then there's you, Butcher, one of the few people who could possibly be considered my equal. You and I could go all out, and you probably wouldn't break. Not right away, at least. So I grabbed the president and framed Butcher. I thought that was enough to get the GIF involved officially, but they were still dragging their feet too much for my liking.
Ooh, kinky. You know, there's easier ways to ask me for a date, but I appreciate the effort.
So are you guys going to fight, or...?
You have 5 minutes. Go find your stupid president and get off my planet. That's the most time I can spare for foreplay.
But
You heard the tyrannical dictator, Janet. Let's grab your dad and get out of here. I grabbed Janet and pulled her out of the arena and into the corridors of the facility. We ran as fast as we could to the closet I found Draco at previously. Opening the door, sure enough, there was President Benini.
Oh, thank God, Janet. I thought nobody would find me.
The entire facility shook around us. I could only imagine what Draco and Butcher were up to.
Planetary destruction is imminent. Please evacuate. Planetary destruction is imminent. Please evacuate.
Just what's going on here?
no time to explain, Dad. We can talk once we're out of here.
We then rushed to the hangar facility where we left the ship. By now, the crowd was flooding the area, trying to escape as the tremors became more frequent. Large chunks of the facility began to fall. The entire place was coming apart. Thankfully, we were able to find and get aboard Janet's ship. But we weren't out of the woods yet. The shaft that brought us here was starting to crumble. It took a combination of expertise and luck to get us out of there, as we heard distant explosions rocking the planet. It almost looked like we weren't going to make it, but we all breathed a sigh of relief when we saw the light of the sun. Once we were no longer in danger of being crushed, we shot out into space as fast as the engines would take us.
Phew.
Nice flying, Janet.
Even in the vacuum of space, we could hear the explosions that sent waves of energy which rocked the ship. Fronus 4 had exploded. There was nothing but rubble left.
Do you think either of them survived that?
I hope not.
Well, once we're home, I'll make sure both of you are properly recognized for your work here.
I think I'll need a new skeleton while we're at it.
I'm sure we can arrange that.
Oh, it hurts to laugh.
And what did we learn?
Not to try to do martial arts moves we weren't trained for?
That's right. You're lucky it was only a few dislocated toes. It could have been much worse.
Oh, but I almost had it. One more try. I swear I can do it.
Joanna, no.
Mike!
Hit him with the socials, Mike.
We're on Facebook at Dick Rogers Pod, on Instagram at Dick Rogers Space Detective, and Twitter at Rogers Space. And you can join the nerds on Patreon at patreon.com/space_detective. And be sure to come back for your Dick appointment next time. Good night, everybody.
This episode's nerds are Wendy Woolward as Joanna, Butcher Minion, Chuck, and the President of Space. Angela Ventris as Eleanor, Janet, and Rib. Michael Storm as Mike Nutley, Alien 1, Round, Josie, Alarm, and Ski the Mike. Emily Anderson as Dick Rogers and Loin. Nicholas Johnson as Draco, Porter, and Brisket. Logan Wright as Lord Butcher, Coleman, and Alien 2. And Brittany Stone as Filet and Shank. Dick Rogers and the Martial Arts Mystery was written by Logan Wright. Music by Nicholas Johnson, sound design by Michael Storm, and audio editing by Nicholas Johnson.